So we are fresh out of Yahar'gul, fresh out of the big body part baby fight, and now we are going to Nightmare of Mensis to deal with Micolash, and then as sort of like a bonus at the end of that, I call it a bonus because it's not a fucking fight. I go clean up Cleric Beast. So right here, I'm looking to see how many chunks we need. We need 4 more chunks. We're gonna get those as soon, really, as we go to Mensis. This is the gem. This Tempering Damp Blood gem is the one that we got in Yahar'gul. But since that run got fucked up and I had to run through it again, you didn't get to see me grab it. But that's what it is. It's a plus 18% physical attack. I'm checking my L2 button because it's still a bit fucked. So here I'm still doing strength and skill. Now I've hit 40 strength, and on new game, that's really good. The hard cap is 50, and even the jump from 40 to 50 is marginal. And I'm getting to the hard cap of skill. So in the back of my head, I'm really starting to think about leveling vitality for the wet nurse fight and Gehrman. Both the wet nurse and Gehrman can be fairly dangerous, and I don't want to have to redo those fights because of a one hit. So I'm debating on if I want to start dumping into vitality. So here we are going to the second floor of the lecture hall, where you can you go to Mensis, and you take the ladder down and go to the first floor, and you can go to Nightmare Frontier. Nightmare Frontier is something that gets cleaned up later. So if you remember, if anybody has been watching any of this, the earlier video, I go pick up the poison knives in near Grand Cathedral, and I said I'm going to show a bullshit way to deal with Micolash, and I do. Right here we meet Patches. If you've played any Souls game, you know who Patches is. He gives you a good rune, though, I gotta say. We picked up the anti-clockwise Metamorphosis rune in Forbidden Woods. It was a plus 10% to your stamina. This is 15%. And then fuck Patches right in his fucking mouth. I go light this lamp because we want to come back here later to go to Nightmare Frontier, where we go fight Amygdala. Amygdala is a lot like Parl. And a lot like Cleric Beast, where if you do them earlier on, like if you do Cleric Beast when you're like at level 10, it can be a little, I mean, it's not like the most difficult fight, but, it's not as hard as like Vanguard, I don't think, as an opening fight, but, it can be a challenge. Parl, if you go fight Parl at like level 20 or something like that, she's kind of a bitch. You're just not doing enough damage. But if you wait until a bit later, like you'll see at the end, I wait too late for Cleric Beast. Jesus. But level 35-ish for Parl, it's easy. It's an easy no-hit. Same with Amygdala. Doesn't mean she can't be difficult sometimes. I've had some fights where it just goes off the rails, where she'll open up with some really strange attacks. So this enemy here, if you visceral attack this enemy, or if you kill it with fire, it won't spawn the worms. Any other way that you take it out, these worms will come out of its body and they'll sort of chase you, and we don't like that. So right here is a Wandering Nightmare that will give you 2 or 3 chunks. And we only need 4 to get to plus 9, and then it's the Blood Rock. So you get 3, so we only need 1 more. We're going to get it right here. Now this area is can be kind of tricky. If you have any blue elixirs, it doesn't hurt right here. But you have 3 of these beast enemies, right? And they have a long fucking reach when they jump at you. It's kind of ridiculous. And with this low vitality, you're fucked. So run. Just fucking run. Manage your stamina and get the fuck out. There's a cold blood over there. It's not really necessary. There are some chunks up there by that, I think by this one right here on the left, this rock thrower. Doesn't fucking matter. And those beast enemies will chase you all the way up here. So I do something right here. Once I open the door. And this is all safety. Hindsight, it probably wasn't all that necessary, but in the moment I felt like I probably should have. I quit out right here. And if you quit out in the game, you reset enemy placement. It's pretty handy to do. It might be a bit cheesy. But it's a good idea, I think. And while we're on the topic of cheesy, the strat from Micolash that I show in this video, is it cheesy? Yes. It is kind of cheesy and it is kind of bullshit. But I think Micolash can be cheesy and bullshit himself. So I'm not saying that makes it okay. I think if you're new to the game, learn how to fight Mikolash's second phase the right way. Learn how to fight it the more... Hell, I don't know. Like, the more, I don't want to say manly way. But, the non-bullshit way. Just chase him into his little arena. Learn how to dodge a call beyond. It's not incredibly difficult. Those are shaman bone blades. I don't grab them because I don't use them. We're not going after the Rakuyo here, and that's really the only time in the game, in the fishing hamlet, when the shaman bone blades might be useful against the two shark bitches. Hardest enemies in all of Soulsborne. Those shark things, by the way. I think. So, it is a cheesy way to deal with Micolash, but I'm fine with that in this run. Showing newer players who maybe have struggled with Micolash a way to at least get past him so that they can finish out the game if Micolash is proving to be a wall. A call beyond, there are a few ways to deal with it. You can knock him out of the call beyond animation just by staying close and hitting him. You can adjust your camera so that you can see where the arcane sort of flares from beyond where they're going. Now they're gonna zoom, they're gonna home in on you. So, but you can dodge them effectively. If you just adjust your camera and see where they're going. So it's not like it's all that fucking difficult, but there is a learning curve, right? And if you're just not hitting it, then this is a way to end the fight. I don't think it's as bullshit as the way to kill Manus, where you can snipe Manus before dropping into his arena. Or before he grabs you and pulls you into the arena anyway. Before you cross the fog gate. That's bullshit. I don't think it's as bullshit as sniping False King and Demon Souls through the fog gate. Or, is it the, the gargoyles in Demon Souls. You can snipe them through the fog gate, or at least one of them. I don't think it's as bullshit as that, because you're at least engaged in the Micolash fight. But yeah, I mean, yes, it's cheesy and bullshit, but we're showing it anyway. Just to give you an idea of, just to show you how to deal with Micolash if you're struggling. And if you're not struggling, then you're fucking awesome, man. Good for you. Good job. Micolash is not the struggle in this fucking game. The only irritating thing about Micolash is sometimes he will just not run to the arena, and you'll just fucking follow him all the way around. You know, the staircases and shit. I get really fucking lucky here in this run, and it's immediate. He goes right where I want him to go, and so that's really lucky. Doesn't happen like that all the fucking time though. So, and again, there's a lot of cool stuff in Mensis that I skip right over because I don't fuck with that stuff. One thing I do fuck with is this right over here. So instead of going down the steps, go left and go around. And there are 2 blue elixirs. And I use them both. Not here. I use one here. Because these big enemies, you can see one right there. They're easy to navigate, right? They're pretty slow. They have like a lunge, but it's easy to deal with. What is not easy to deal with are these little fucking crossbow guys that you can't see off screen. And they have like a fairly decent aggro distance. And if you get shot by one of those arrows, it takes like maybe 80% of your health. And it causes a bit, I think, a bit of frenzy damage. It'll start your frenzy build-up. It's crazy. So I tend to just avoid the fuck out of them. I actually take one of the arrows in during the Micolash fight. You'll see. And it does a lot of damage. But we're only at 10 vitality this late in the game, you know, so, I mean, can't be taking too many hits. So here I start equipping, I think. Maybe I don't. No, I just run down here and clean up the bird dogs. And get this cold blood and this chunk to sell. I always thought it was a really interesting touch to do these bird dogs and the dog birds in the Nightmare. I thought that was a really creative and interesting and unsettling touch. You notice that I ran into that elevator over there on the left and sent it down. That goes down by the lamp that we lit earlier at the Murgo's Loft base. So just in case something goes belly up during the Micolash fight, we have an easy way back up to the fog gate. Nothing goes belly up; it all goes fine. But so you'll chase Micolash about a bit. You know, I mean, if you want, you can try and pepper him with darts or throwing knives. I mean, you can shoot him if you want. I don't like to waste the bullets. I've wasted enough bullets checking my L2. Fucking controllers. Why can't everything just be amazing and perfect the way I want it to be? Jesus. Okay, so now I turn back, and I'm hoping that if I catch him and go this way, that it will send him into... And it does. Sometimes that doesn't work. It worked here. A lot of it's just RNG. Now, sometimes there are 2 of these puppet enemies out here, so I'm checking to make sure there's only one, because we drag Micolash out. He has 2 puppet enemies that will spawn in here with him, and the size of the arena can make it a bit AIDSy, where sometimes you'll lose sight of Micolash, and he might do his Augur of Abretus attack, and it'll clip you a little bit, and it does a lot of damage with this low health, so it's best to just drag him out and just deal with him, rather than having to fuck with other enemies. And it's real easy to deal with this, right? You just sort of bait out the Augur attack, and then you can run in, and you can R1 spam, you can R1, L1, L1, R1. It's gonna, whatever you do is gonna stagger him a bit, and then just sort of dodge back. Make sure that you leave yourself enough stamina to dodge back. If you don't, then he's gonna do the Augur attack, and unless you've been leveling vitality, it might kill you. It just might fuck you, and you don't want that, because having to run the Micolash fight again just, it it starts to get real fucking old. Now here, I take a fucking... I get stuck there. Look how much damage that does. God damn. So... yeah, that's why we used the blue elixir earlier. You don't want to get hit by one of those fucking things. Now look at this luck. He does a hard left right into the arena. That's amazing. Sometimes he'll run for just minutes and minutes and minutes. Alright, so here's the bullshit way to deal with Micolash, right? 2 poison darts will start his health decrease. I have like 4 or 5 Molotovs in my inventory that I never use, so I just use them here. I don't use them anywhere else. So just to clean out my inventory, I just use them. Try and get this shit over with quicker. He'll do this sort of like stagger nonsense here. When the poison is done, he'll stop doing this and he'll just stand there again. Now, the other way to deal with Micolash, other than letting him run into the arena, he'll run straight and he'll run into an arena, and then you have to go and drop down and fight him that way. Another way to deal with him is to drop down on him from if you walk around. There's another way to drop down into this arena on top of him. If you drop down, I want to say it's with a transform attack, so it's with the saw cleaver out. Hello. You'll knock him on the ground, and then if you dodge quick enough or you roll quick enough, you can block him from running into the arena straight ahead, and then you just clean him up sort of like in the corner of the door. That's one way to deal with Micolash quickly. You see that in like speed runs, you see that in no-hit runs. This method right here, it's an easy no-hit, obviously, but it does take a while, so you're never going to see this shit in a speed run, I don't think. And like I said, it is cheesy, but you know, we're showing you anyway. I might throw in like some sort of bonus clip at some point, maybe, if I start a new run where I show like the proper way to deal with Micolash, you know, how to deal with a Call Beyond and all that. But it's interesting how sort of divided the community can be on what's cheese and what's bullshit and what's not in these runs. What is overpowered, and I find it interesting. I respect, you know, all the different opinions and perspectives on that. You know, the one thing that I personally have never really gotten behind are glitches, challenge runs, or speed runs where you can glitch through the environment and make the run that way. I don't think that even like doing this against Micolash is like no skill at all, right? I mean, it does not require skill, but you still have to do the fight. You know, like you still have to get him to the second phase, and so I mean, there is a tiny bit amount of skill, maybe more skill than just clipping through the environment and running the game that way, which I never understood why those runs even became records, because to me it's not even playing the game, you know. It doesn't, I don't, but they're entertaining as fuck to watch, though. I'll give them that. They are very entertaining. Now here I go ahead and I just put 4 points into Vitality, I think, because there's not much left to do with Strength and Skill. Or do I? Maybe I go 35 skill here. Whatever I do, I'm fucking thinking about it real hard here. I did equip the moon rune for the extra echoes. I took off the claw mark rune because we aren't doing viscerals right now. We aren't worried about viscerals until after wet nurse. I think it depends on what the run looks like. Abritas gets a visceral. Gehrman and hopefully Moon Presence will get a visceral. So the Clawmark rune helps with them. But Wet Nurse does not. So we go back to Nightmare of Mensis Middle to go get the gem that we need. And now we get to deal with the 3 Winter Lanterns. Jesus fucking Christ, man. The Winter Lanterns... they're really cool, you know, as enemies, but at the same time, they are a bit maybe overpowered. Okay, I think. They do a ton of frenzy damage for one, just by fucking looking at you. And if they touch you, if they get you in this grab, it's physical damage. So if they grab you, you're just fucked. You're done. Even if you had been leveling vitality, you know, they take a ton of damage from you. You know, it's the large amount of frenzy damage plus the, you know, physical attack damage. The best way that I've found to deal with them is I throw on the bolt paper and I R1, L1, L1, R1. And that knocks them out of the grab attack, and I eat the frenzy damage. And here is the gem we want. Now that gives us 2 gems, both give a plus 18% physical attack, and that's pretty fucking good. It can be the case that sometimes if you want to farm a bit, if you want to farm those Winter Lanterns right there, one of them can drop a cursed gem that gives, let's see, it's a really high increase in physical attack, but you, what is it? Your weapon durability decreases by over 50%, or something like that. So it's not bad. You know, I've used it before when I've gotten it without farming on... I think I ran the whole DLC with it. Now, after you fight a boss, it costs maybe like 300 echoes. Well, not just a boss, but after you run an area and do the boss, you might have to spend like 300 or so echoes to repair your weapon. But the amount of damage you do is pretty good. But really, it doesn't really matter. You know, if you're using Beast Blood pellets, if you use these 2 gems, if you have your plus 10. Now here we get the Blood Rock. And we hunter his mark out. One thing that I don't do, that you can do, in Upper Cathedral Ward you can get the make contact gesture, and then you can go down to the very, very bottom of Mensis. I'm not going to show it in this run, but you take an elevator down in the room where I used the blue elixir, and I dodged the bolt enemy and got on the elevator and all that. You can take an elevator down into a sort of abyss darkness and use that gesture on the brain of Mensis, who has fallen down there, and he will give you, I think, the upgraded moon rune, where you get even more echoes from enemies. I think that's what he gives you, but I don't do it here. I want to say that I'm checking to see how much Madman's knowledge I have. and I just go ahead and just spend all my insight. I don't like carrying around insight like that in this game.
Welcome.
So I try to keep it at 0 as best I can. So here, I mean, I've already gotten 4 extra points in Vitality to prepare for the wet nurse fight. And that's good enough, I think. So the rest just goes into skill. And once we hit 40 strength and 40 skill, then it becomes about, okay, well now it's kind of just a vit dump. The rest of the stat allocations, because, like I said, even going from 40 to 50, the increase in damage that you're going to do is marginal. And it's more beneficial to increase vitality at that point than to worry about, you know, those small numbers. So about a 40-40 strength skill is pretty good. You can go 50-50 if you want. You know, I have before in the past, and in the DLC it gets a bit tricky. If you dodge game, if you parry game, you know, these aren't on point, then, you know, you just get fucked a bunch. And it's not fun to get fucked a bunch. Well, okay. Whatever. So there's the second umbilical cord. We'll get the third one after the wet nurse fight automatically. The game gives you that. We'll eat them, and that will give us the moon presence fight after Gehrman. So my runs get a bit weird. I don't... there are times when I'll do Gehrman and moon presence, then Hunter's Mark out, and then I'll go clean up all the other bosses. There are times when I might do one of the bosses and then go do them. There are times when I might start the DLC and then go back. And so I don't really have, like, you know, like a certain way that I like to do this shit, you know, for the most part. At the end here, it's just whatever I fucking feel like doing. I'm putting off running Upper Cathedral Ward because there have been times when Upper Cathedral Ward bends me over with the fucking brain suckers and the wolves, and if those brain suckers are in the mood, man, they can just ruin it. And it gets frustrating, but we'll see. So I kill these guys because they can follow you, and I've had them before, like, sort of smack me in the back, and I don't like that. So this is Cleric Beast. Cleric Beast is supposed to be sort of like the Vanguard or the Asylum Demon. You know, if Papa G, if Father Gascoigne is the boss that teaches you how to parry, or that forces you to learn how to parry, this is the boss that teaches you about limb breaks. And, you know, what else can I say? I mean, that's what happens when you come back to Cleric Beast this late in the game. So next, who knows? Maybe Upper Cathedral Ward, finally.